I headed to Rinkeby, the infamous no-go zone, where the 60 Minutes camera crew got attacked and this guy fought back in his wheelchair. With 91% of Rinkeby's population immigrants as of 2018, it's a symbol of the parallel societies in Sweden where migrants seem to live in an entirely different world than the rest of their Swedish neighbors, and some say it represents the problems that arise when migrants do not properly integrate into Swedish society. Let's go to Rinkeby. Is it actually dangerous?
It is, yes.
Okay. What's going on there?
Wow.
You have open drug selling on the streets. You have multiple gangs from Rinkeby.
This is where the Swedish gangs are?
To some extent, yeah.
Okay. We can talk to some people out here. Excuse me, question for you. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Oj, jag vet inte. Jenny.
You from Sweden?
Nej.
Where are you from?
Oj, jag kan inte.
Country?
Jag kan inte svenska prata.
Okay.
Ja.
Okay. We got a shot.
She said she doesn't know Swedish, but you're speaking English. So she doesn't know English either. Cool.
Up right here, we're basically in a little Middle Eastern community, it seems like. All right, so rumor has it we're in a no-go zone. Obviously, we've gone. The question is, will we go back home in one piece? Where are they from? Why did they come here? How is life? Let's go find out. How long have you lived in Rinkeby?
For about a year.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Syria.
Okay.
But I have lived in Rissne, which is very close to here. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're born and raised here in Sweden?
No, I came here in 2015, so...
From Syria?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how's your experience been in Sweden as a Syrian?
Well, it was fine. I grew up here, so it feels like natural being from Sweden.
Yeah.
I was young, so
okay.
I don't really know I didn't have that like tough experience or so. But yeah, it's a nice place actually. Before I moved here, I heard that it was like
the hood, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I wouldn't say that. Okay. I like Rinkeby actually.
Because they call it a no-go zone. Is that accurate? I mean, we're here, right?
Absolutely not.
No?
I go to the gym like at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It's fine. As long as you're not involved in the gangs and so on, you're fine.
A lot of the time, gang violence is isolated. It's very isolated. It's very between the gangs. Like, they don't go there, you're going to get shot. They're not looking for you. They're looking for the other people that have drugs. It's always gang-on-gang violence. Still not a nice thing to witness or live around, but yeah.
I would say.
Is this a sort of parallel society, as they call it? Different world within a world sort of thing?
They want it to be like that. Actually,
the Swedes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say they act like we want you to be involved and be a part of the society. But why would you even place people to live here? You placed us in one area, and then they just put all the bad things on us. We're like the scapegoat. Basically, we sell the drugs, they buy them.
Sure.
But if they wouldn't buy, we wouldn't sell.
So let me ask you this. Do people have economic opportunity outside of some of this?
I mean, she's not wrong, right? There wouldn't be a drug market if people weren't purchasing drugs. We know this in every country.
Criminality, like the drug selling, or are young men kind of just like, okay, I guess I'll go sell drugs?
Well, Sweden have a free education. You can become a doctor and you get money from CSN, for example, for studying. I get 4,000 crowns every month.
To become a doctor?
Yeah, every
smart.
month. So it's like $400.
Jesus. Sweden, why would they go back, Sweden? Why would they go back home? Free education, I could become a doctor for free. My partner's currently restudying to become a counsellor, and it's not free. You have to pay, It's a second degree, a master's. Masters you have to pay. Or maybe you have to pay for a master's in Sweden, but there's probably more opportunity to get funding for that. But yeah, if I was an immigrant who moved to Sweden, I wouldn't move back either.
You get money to
study.
Exactly.
Why are people getting involved in gangs then?
Well, I think that they have a different background. People from war and things like that.
Sure.
And many kids grow up here with no passion. Schools doesn't have any type of good education that discipline kids. They don't have that.
Why come to Sweden if the Swedes aren't, let's say, welcoming and...
Because, our countries, people are suffering there. As you see now in Gaza, people are dying, basically.
That makes sense. I guess my question is why Sweden specifically and not maybe a neighboring UAE or a Middle Eastern country?
I would say because UAE and so on, they didn't open doors, actually. They are Muslim countries and they are our people somehow, but they didn't open their doors.
It's interesting that, isn't it? That's interesting. Other Muslim countries, she's a Muslim, and the other Muslim countries, religious countries, they teach about Islam, helping others, giving to the poor is very important in Islam. Yet, the countries that have opened their borders and let people live from war-torn countries are the countries that are the most atheists, the countries that have the least amount of religious people. That's very interesting, don't you think? I'm just saying. I don't know. Practice what you preach, you know? A lot of religions, they harp on about helping the other man, helping their brother, but then when it comes down to it, oh no, but you can't come here. We can't look after you. Oh no, we're a Muslim nation, but we can't look after you. Yeah, that's very interesting. Anyways, I'll continue.
Was Sweden and Germany.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Palestine.
Palestine?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you like Sweden?
Yeah.
Good? Are they welcoming to refugees?
Yeah. I drive bus.
You drive bus?
Yeah.
And you've been here for how long?
20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
Do you plan on staying in Sweden forever?
No, not now. Not this. Not because the new politique. This is
the new politics are bad?
This is different.
How so? Bad?
Yeah.
In what ways?
Everything.
How so?
Economy.
Immigration?
Yeah.
How they treat you?
Not for me. I have Medborg. I have
Okay,
pass.
so you're in.
I'm from Sweden, Serbia, and Peru.
Okay, are you born and raised here in Sweden?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rinkeby?
My thoughts in that sense, I don't know, it's a beautiful place in some senses, but I think every place has its problems.
Okay. What are some of the good things about this place? What are some of the bad things?
I would say like it's very common for people to really get to know each other. It's very family, like we normally accept people from other places. I think many people have bad thoughts about this place, yes, because it's a place where maybe it's very mixed with the cultures. And I think people normally have the tendency to really give this place a shot, like a really good chance. And I think if people would do that, it would get along with people living here. I think people
He's got a lovely Swedish accent.
already have racist thoughts about this place.
I think that we are involved in the society. Many Syrians educate and go to universities and so on. So I'm not saying that the immigrants is very not doing bad things.
Sure.
They are, and they aren't following the rules and so on. But the government could do better.
What's one change you'd like to see in the government?
Don't spread propaganda on social media about us immigrants being the people who kill and so on. Because when it's a Swedish man who commits a rape, they said a man. When it's a black man, they would put his name or something that shows you that he is not from Sweden.
Yeah.
It's true. It's propaganda. It really is. It's like dehumanizing. It's like a man rapes blah 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 blah. But then when it's like she said, anyone else that's not from Sweden, it's their race, it's their culture, it's their religion, and that's not okay. They do that in Britain as well. Like I said earlier, the government uses the fact they use immigrants as the scapegoat. They use immigrants to blame. They use that as a problem. Don't look at us. Don't look at the government. We're not doing it. It's the immigrants. They're taking your job. It's the immigrants. They're taking your house. It's the immigrants. They're the violent ones. That everything gets pointed at the immigrant from another country. That's the problem. And the Swedes eat it up. The Brits, they eat it up. And I'm on about the indigenous Brits, the indigenous Swedes. Like, not everyone, but some of the naive ones eat it up. And they're like, oh my God, that's exactly the problem. It's their fault. But is it? Just their fault? No. But, hey.
I don't think that we are committing more crimes than Swedes, because they do commit crimes, but the media...
Do I agree with that? No. Percentage-wise, you probably are committing more crimes. But that's because, percentage-wise, more immigrants are in poverty. Whereas Swedes, there are a lot more Swedes above poverty, above above, middle class and upper class and whatever, doing well, don't need to commit crimes because they've got access to jobs and stuff like that. Whereas the majority of immigrants do not. So there are more crimes. There's just higher crimes the lower in society you go. It's nothing to do with them being immigrants or them being white, being Asian or whatever, being black. It's to do with economic opportunity. Where are you in society? Where are you economically?
It doesn't show.
Why are there so many shootings here?
Gang crimes.
Yeah. Why do people, from your understanding or speculation, get involved in gangs out here?
I would say the main reason maybe you cannot pay your bills. I don't think everyone chooses to do these things.
A lot of heterogeneous cultures here. We got kokab, East African products, Thai, sushi. So we're in Rinkeby, and here we are. This is what the famous spot where the wheelchair guy drove into the dude attacking the boom mic operator. So we're noticing, just do a pan here, every walk of life we're seeing. So we got a cool ethnic market here. We got Palestine Cola. This is truly a melting pot we're witnessing. This reminds me of New York in a lot of ways. And last but not least, the Islamic Cultural Center. We're in front of the police station in Rinkeby. Can you tell me some of the problems and difficulties they face building this place?
Yeah, so when they started building this place a couple of years ago, the construction workers got attacked, and they had a really hard time also getting the stuff here because of roadblocks and stuff. So
who were they getting attacked by?
Local gangs and gang members.
That didn't want a police station right in the heart of Rinkeby?
Yeah.
For obvious reasons?
Yeah, for obvious reasons, At some point you perhaps also could understand that from a criminal point of view, having a police station like this, also quite big, you could understand that, of course. On this building, you have fireproof walls from the outside.
But the problem is they've built a police station in the middle of the community. Do you know what that looks like? It also looks like from the immigrants that, oh, you don't trust us. You're there to surveillance us. You need a big police station. You're policing very hard in this area. And it's not, and also the police are probably not integrating with the people as well. You need community police. You need people from the community. It's just, Sweden's doing everything. I'm sorry. I love Sweden and I can criticize Sweden when I need to. You're making all the mistakes that America made, that Britain made, that all the Western countries have made in the past. That's not how you integrate people. That's not how you do it. It's not. It's not going to work. It's like, oh, we'll put a police station there. We'll put loads of police officers on the street to stop the gang back. It's not going to happen. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to, it's just... Anyways, let's continue.
Outside as well, to not be able to throw Molotov cocktails and stuff.
That's fireproof, bullet.
Either he's really, really tall or he's really short. He's probably really tall if he's Swedish.
Proof. Drive proof.
That's a stereotype, but...
Proof.
Yeah.
Why?
You're not all
Because
tall,
we are in Rinkeby and...
This is a fortress we're looking at right here.
So what they also do is they escort police from here and to work. So for example, if you're a local policeman here and you arrest someone here at the center, then you go back here, change uniform, and walk to the subway station
with police guards.
Yeah, exactly.
The police themselves are afraid of getting attacked after they do their job and arrest people here.
Yeah, and that's why they got escort from here.
But I wanted to hear from an immigrant who moved to Sweden when she was 20 and became the first black police officer in Sweden. Is integration possible? And why are so many migrant youth turning to a life of crime? And we're in a big police compound. This place is fortified. Why is that?
I mean, it starts with for maybe 10 years ago, we have community policing and we have small stations. And then one day someone threw a hand grenade on the building, and then the politician decided that we should build a huge police station that will be in Rinkeby. I became police officer 2006, right? So between 2006 to 2015, or 14, everything was cool here.
Sure.
You have more or less small crimes burglary and theft, those small things. After 2015, then we start the gang violence in Sweden, and then we have certain group who start to build kind of gang, what they call themselves. Sure. We are having shooting before in Södertälje, where we have immigrant from Middle East, but Christian immigrant from Middle East, who also build their own, kind of gang. It's more like mafia. I mean, and burning cars, shooting, throwing stone on the police officers. But now, from 2021 up to now, everything's quiet here because we were not like sitting down and watching them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Start from 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
During the refugee crisis?
Yeah, that's most of the people say that it's because of the refugees, but I can say because most of the people who are in the gang violence, most of them born here in Sweden.
Okay.
And they came to Sweden for many years ago. They are not like the new migrant.
Interesting what she just said. She said people say it's the immigrants, but actually most of the people involved in the gang violence are children of immigrants that were born in Sweden. So whose responsibility is it? Do you know what I mean? So obviously the parents, but the parents didn't move to Sweden and cause crime, but their children are causing the crime. That means that they've gone through the Swedish system, school system, grown up in Sweden, but chose crime. That's a problem with Sweden. That's a problem with Swedish government. That's a problem within Sweden that needs to be tackled, because nobody born in a country should be going down that path. Same as in England. That's interesting what she just said. I didn't know that. I thought the crimes and the hand grenades and the shooting and the stabbing and all that stuff was happening from the immigrants coming from other countries. But no, it's happening with their children.
These are second-gen children of immigrants?
Of course.
Yeah.
Those youth, they have to feel that they're part of this society. They are Swedish too. You cannot give a person identity at the same time making the person feeling that you're not a part of this society because you look different. In living in an area where most of them are immigrants, how can you be a part of the society if you don't know the rules, you don't know the culture, you're not learning anything?
Exactly what I've been saying. Sweden, you're literally going through what Britain went through a long time ago. Still going through in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, integration is well on the way. There are so many children of immigrants, children of grandparents who are immigrants who are doing great things in Britain and are part of the society and do feel British. You need to start, there needs to be a way to make these young people feel Swedish and want to be Swedish and want to respect your beautiful nation. I love Sweden. I'm not from Sweden. I've never even been to Sweden, and I love Sweden. You need to, some way, they need to love Sweden too, and they won't do these things. They'll respect.
If I were a kid and if I were to throw a grenade into this room, for instance, what could you do as a police officer, and then how would the court system take me in as, let's say, a 13-year-old?
I'm a 13-year-old. I mean, nothing gonna happen.
Nothing would happen?
No.
You would take me into custody and
we don't want to take you to custody. We'll take you and the social will take over the whole investigation. A young man in a kind of, how do you call it, HBV, or CIS, is a kind of, it's not really jail, but it's more like a place where they get educated. Or
even if I were to throw a grenade at a police officer,
that's the system in Sweden. I say that they should throw them.
Wait. She's about to say, I say we should do. So yeah, if you're a adolescent and you do something crazy like throw a grenade, then nothing happens to them. They just go through a system of social to help them. I think that's a good thing, but is it working? Let's hear what she thinks. It sounds like she said, just throw them in prison at 13. Savage.
Grenade at a police officer.
That's the system in Sweden. I say that they should throw them to jail, and they have to learn. If you throw a hand grenade, you can get 10 years old. Or if they caught you with the arm, again, 10 years old. If you sit down there, you're gonna start to think. At the same time, the government have to prepare. But what's happening in Sweden is like they throw you in the prison, and then after when you get out, you don't have anything to go. Where do? You go back to your friends.
Sure, and then you throw another hand grenade or shoot someone else.
Or because your parents are from another country, you have to learn Swedish too. Why Swedish too? Why don't I study Swedish as my Swedish?
Okay. Swedish is taking these young children who are born here to learn Swedish as their second language.
Exactly.
And they're born in Sweden.
Yes.
But they're never going to truly feel Swedish.
Exactly. They try to do that with me. My father came to the school and say, hey, what?
Let's say...
Wow. So they go in a class. So what she's saying is that in the school system, children of immigrants go into a separate classroom where they learn Swedish as a second language. I understand why they've done that, because obviously the other children have an advantage being that Swedish is their native tongue and Swedish is spoken at home. However, that's probably serving those kids not well because they're learning at a slower rate. So when they leave school, their Swedish is not at a level that is native. In the UK, we never had anything like that. If you were an immigrant or a child of an immigrant, you moved to the UK, there are no separate classrooms as English is your second language classrooms. No, you're put in a class with other English I remember kids in my class who couldn't speak English when they moved to Britain. And they were made to immerse in the culture and the language. And they eventually were able to speak English. It probably took them about a year and they could speak fluent English. Why? Because kids learn languages a lot quicker. If you immerse them in the language, they will learn. And they'll just have to catch up. Interesting. I'm learning so much. I'm learning a lot about how Sweden has handled their immigrants.
An immigrant is coming here to Sweden right now. Can they become Swedish? Can they integrate into society?
Of course they can if you make it easy for them. Give them the tools. Make it easy for them. Let the parents to be parents. They have to also to tell us, immigrant coming here, okay, if you come to my country, this is the law. No one is telling you. Everyone is going to the suburb. How do we know about what we have to do? You have to tell me. This is the law. We want you to follow it. Now they are saying that. Even they're still saying that, but they are not telling what to do either. They have to be proud themselves about their own culture before they can introduce that culture to me. If they don't know about the culture themselves, how can they introduce the culture to me as a foreigner? They have to know who they are.
Wow. They have to be proud of their own culture themselves. And if they don't know about their culture, then how can they teach the culture to the foreigner? Guys, your culture is beautiful. Your culture is beautiful. I've been learning about your culture for over a year now. And I'm still learning. Swedish culture is beautiful. And I feel like European nations struggle with being proud of their nation. Like Britain, it struggles. And there's also like a kind of a feeling that if you show pride of being a European nation, it's seen that you don't want to see as being maybe racist or nationalist or whatever. It shouldn't be like that. The reason why being proud of your nation gets that kind of connotation, people think that that's a racist thing to do. Like in Britain, if you see someone flying an English flag, the first thought is, oh, they're racist. It's because the majority of the people in the country are not proud of being from there. So the people that take that symbol, that beautiful symbol of a country, are the ones that are being racist. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. Basically, we need to be more proud of our country and we need to show off our culture. And these immigrants need to know what it is to be a Swede. They need to be taught. Like, they do. It's as simple as that. Because not everyone wants to seek and find out about a country like me. I'm seeking and I'm digging and I'm looking and finding out about Sweden and learning about Sweden and learning about the history and learning about the culture. Not everyone wants to do that. It has to be mandatory. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but...
They are first before they tell us who we are.
Or who they want you to be.
Who they want us to be. As the Swedish, what's the Swedish culture? They will say, yeah,
openness,
stand in a queue. You go to... That's not a culture. They can't define their own culture.
The segregation in this country is...
You guys can define your culture. You can define... It's not... You can't even speak. You can define it. I've learned so much. Lagom, fika, openness, kindness, like she said, respectfulness. What else is there? There's so much in your culture. There is so much in your culture. Yes, you're reserved. The way Swedes are, you are reserved. Takes a long time probably to get to know a Swede. But once you get to know a Swede, you're probably the nicest people ever. Like, I just feel like you do have a culture and you need to package it. You need to put it in a box, package it up. 101 of being a Swede. I can't think off the top of my head right now all the things I've learned, because I've learned a lot. And do you know what it is? That says a lot, because I can't define it. I can't define what a Swede is from what I've learned. But I just know because I've learned it. So I just know how you are now. I understand you now, but I can't define it myself. So this is something that you guys need to do. You need to somehow define what being a Swede is, so that you can teach it to immigrants that come to your country. Really do. Anyways.
What you're seeing in many different places like this. We were just visiting central Stockholm the other day, and there you saw a whole other picture.
Totally different.
Totally different.
This is entirely Middle Eastern and African people in Sweden.
Yeah.
Because you guys let them in and you guys welcomed them.
Yeah, we had the prime ministers talking on national television to open our hearts and to be accepting.
Sure.
So,
and you did.
Yeah, for almost 40 years, perhaps.
And now you're paying some of these people $34,000 USD to go back? Is that the idea?
Yeah, the current government has imposed an amount of money to return back. It got quite big in Sweden with multiple headlines of a full plane going back to Iraq.
Breaking. Sweden has begun mass deportation of Iraqi immigrants. The first of many planes full of Iraqis was sent back to Iraq yesterday. Authorities say the deportation will continue. Do you want this implemented in your country? So what is it? It's not. They're not telling me what. Like, he's saying 34,000. Are you paying each immigrant $34,000 and then sending them back with this money? I'm really confused as to what this means. He's skirting around the subject. Let me know in the comment section below.